blah. Yes. Welcome. My name is Georgios Verbena, and I am an astrologer, and I'm also psychotherapeutically in my know-how. So this is another video that is based on identity trauma and how we have been brainwashed. As I point out in so many of my videos, that identity is a disease, that to identify yourself is wrong, and you should not identify yourself. You should allow other people to identify you, and only other people can determine who you are. And whether it's other people or God, who they say in New Age would determine that you are nobody, or in Christianity that you are a sinful, rotten person, or a servant or something, identity is essential. And whether you want to or not, you need it to function. You need to identify, why am I here? Not in a spiritual sense, in a practical sense. What do you want to accomplish? Why have you not taken your life yet? There's obviously a reason why you chose not to commit suicide. So what is that reason? If you're not aware of the reasons for being here, you have a problem. But most people don't ask themselves what I want to accomplish. And others, they just want a simple life. Just have a practical concerns to be secured. And once they have that, there's nothing beyond it. No ambition, no desire. Why? Why are we dealing with NPCs everywhere? What is this? Why are people devoid of ambition? Why don't they want to do something or be someone? Because they have been told that it's wrong. They have been convinced that to be nobody, to be an NPC, is a virtue. To be a victim, helpless, powerless, without ambition or desire, is a virtue. And that to want to improve yourself, to strengthen and solidify your position, to create something of your life that means something to you, is wrong. They are trying to convince you on all levels, through philosophers, the education system, religions, everywhere around you. You are trying to be convinced, you are being brainwashed that you don't matter, that your life has no meaning, and that any meaning that you create is false, an illusion. And we have fallen for this deception for thousands of years. So long we have fallen for this. We are still falling for this. Really? You don't matter? Then why do you keep going? Why have you not decided to take your life? I need to know. If there's no fire in your life, then there's no life there. Death is the result of a dance unfinished. Life that was never lived. A meaning that was never found. An objective that was never even intended. Not only did most of us fail to accomplish our goal, we didn't even want our own desires. We have been fragmented. We have been split so hardcore. We have been detaching from our desires, our core values. We have forgotten. We are now non-entities. This is transhumanism. To be human is to be a soul with desires, with reason for incarnating, and then actualizing these desires, which is self-actualization and individuation. Carl Jung phrased these terms to describe the process every human has to go through to be healthy, psychologically, emotionally, physically. Health is the result of self-actualization, of embodiment. They don't want you to be embodied. They don't want you to be self-actualized. They don't even want you to have a self. Not even that. They want you to be dead. Robots, machines. But the only goals that you have is to survive. But the only goals that you have are unconscious. That you are driven by nothing but despair and fear of death. They want you to be in survival mode, to be ruled by the reptile brain. We need to understand what is going on here. We need to understand what is this world about. All the brainwashing is intended to destroy your identity. We have fallen for this. We have been convinced that our identity is the enemy. The ego is the enemy. If you believe you are somebody, you are delusional, right? Wrong. You are somebody. You're not somebody? Why are you still here? What is this? Is this some kind of a joke? This is not a joke. This is a very serious issue. To be in a human body is very serious. You have to be serious if you want to break free from the programming. They don't want you to be serious. They want you to let go and butterflies and rainbows. Detach from everything and forget. Be in a coma. I am a big deal. I am important. I matter. When was the last time you told yourself any of these three phrases? I am important. I matter. I am a big deal. Do you even know who I am? When did you last tell yourself? Do you know who you are? When you look into the mirror, what do you see? A big deal? An important person? Who's more important than you? You are the center of your life. And you're telling me that you don't believe that you are important? My goodness, we've been brainwashed to the maximum. So that's exactly the issue I'm talking about. We have been hijacked. We are not even aware of this war. We have been under attack. So this is a spiritual war. They try to destroy your sense of self. If you believe that you're nobody important and you're only a servant to others, then unimportant is what you shall remain. They know how to manifest. To manifest is about beliefs. Who do you believe you are? If you believe you are nobody, like Ram Dass, then nobody is what you shall become. You will have no power. You will be a victim of circumstances, a puppet put on strings. They don't want you to have a will. Will. What do I want? Well, do my wants even matter? Is it important what I want? Oh no, it's not important. I'm just here for others. Oh, I'm not anything. I'm just a puppet. I'm just whatever. Right? You don't even want to have an identity. Most of us don't. Even the idea of having an identity is shameful. So this is the programming. We are ashamed to be somebody. We are proud to be Ram Dass, to be nobody. It is shameful to be important now. It is Yes, it is shameful to believe that you matter. That this life matters. Because if this life matters, it's painful. You have to do the inner work. If you accept that you are important, then you must admit all the mistakes that you made, where you allowed yourself to treat yourself like you don't matter. How many do you know who treat their body like it doesn't matter? Who eat shit, drink energy drinks, smoke, drink alcohol, have a bad routine, no routine, to have not a dietary regimen, who don't have any goals for their health. The reason why somebody doesn't take care of their health is because they believe that their health doesn't matter. No, who in their right mind would believe that? Unless they believe that they don't matter. Because they and the physical body, you believe they're far apart. They have convinced you, right? You are not the body. If you're not the body, then the body doesn't matter, right? That is the hideous, subliminal propaganda they try to sell you. Yes, it's propaganda. It's a propaganda strategy. It's mind control strategy. We are talking about literally propaganda. I'm not making this up. This is not a joke. This is real. We have been intentionally mind controlled. People need to understand there's techniques here. There's method to the madness. There's intention behind the trauma. It is specific. If you want to know somebody's intention, look at the result. Look at the action. The action reveals the malicious intent. When somebody tells you don't be anybody, they want you to be dead. They want you to be weak. Because those who are dead and weak can be controlled. They're easy, you know. Look at me. I'm not important. I will never make any difference. I'm not significant. What can I do? What can I accomplish? My accomplishments don't matter. It's all ego, right? It's only ego. And I must destroy my ego. My ego is evil. Whatever I want, whatever I dream to become is delusional, right? So then I will never emerge, will never become a threat to those in power. That is a fact. It doesn't matter what your beliefs are. This is a fact. I'm talking about facts here. The fact of the matter is, to be nobody is to be not a threat. To be somebody is to have the potential to threaten those in power. Do you really believe the psychopaths, the governments, the reptilians, God knows who's in the upper class, the elite? Do you really believe that they don't know what your power is? But they don't know how important it is to convince you that you are powerless, that your power doesn't matter. They don't need to tell you that you're powerless. They just tell you that it's not important. So you will not try to invest in yourself. You will neglect your health. You will neglect your career, your money, your goals, whatever. It does not just have to be earth element stuff. You will also neglect your desires, your passions, your creative ambitions. Your desire to be seen is at the core of the soul. Why would consciousness create the soul in the first place? To be invisible, to be nobody, to only to go back and where it came from? What? You are trying to convince me that source has created a soul just so it can go back? Or how about my understanding? What I believe, not they, who've been repeating this for thousands of years like parrots. I believe you have been created. Your soul has been intended to be seen, to be part of a drama. Life is a game. Your soul is the player. There can be no game without players. They want you to let go of the game, to destroy the game, so they can control the game. You see? How do you take control of a game? Just convince the players that they're not players. That playing the game is wrong. You are supposed to play. Do you really believe you would incarnate here to do nothing? That is a perversion. The soul hates detachment of its own ambition, its own passion. Passion is the zest, the juice. Life itself is passion. To deny that is to be part of a death cult. The death cult has tried to take us over. So create an identity. Yes. Don't destroy it. Stop it. We've been doing this for long enough. It's time for a revolution. It's time to do the opposite. When you are sick, and this society is very, very sick, as you can see. When you're living in a mental asylum, how do you cure? How do you heal? By doing the opposite of what you've been doing before. What we've been doing is to destroy our identity. It's time to rebuild. Identity reconstruction is the foundation of my work. That's why I talked about it in all my videos. Identity. You are, you are, you are. Remember. Remember that you are. Not that you are not. Ramdas. That's not remembering. That's forgetting. They tell you, remember that you are not. That means forget that you are. This simple logic. It's not easy to accept. Really? We can't accept our importance. We can't accept that we want something. And that want is painful. Yes. Because what happens when you don't get what you want? When reality hits you. When you realize that you are not in control here, then you suffer. Will you go to delusion? Will you give in to the carrot on a stick? Will you allow the lure and the soul trap, the temptation of the devil, to convince you to abandon your soul, your fire, your passion, your desire? Because it's painful. That is to be weak. To have a strong will is to survive. That is Aries, that is Mars. That is identity. The will to live. There cannot be any will without a reason. It can be an unconscious reason. Maybe you're not aware of why you've come here, it doesn't mean that there's not a reason. Just because you don't know why you are here, doesn't mean that there's not a fucking intention behind it. You are all nobodies. We are all nobodies. We don't have any intentions. We don't have any will. I'm not talking about free will. Will is not free, first of all. What a joke, free will. Ludicrous concept. The language itself is wrong. To have a will is not free. You have to work for it. You have to focus. You need strength. An iron fist rules because it is determined. Because it does not give in. It does not allow itself to be distracted by pain, by torture, by anxiety. Yes, you will have anxiety if you want something. And your anxiety will push you. Your frustration, your irritation, your anger will push you to act. So then you act. And where's the peace? Well, first, before you can get to the peace, you must first accept that you are under attack. You are already at war. As long as there is war, there can be no peace. And that is why you are restless. That is why you keep striving towards an end, to the suffering. Because you are under attack. Because somebody has been trying to destroy you, to control you, to brainwash you, to make sure that you do not get what you want. They have been trying so hard, so desperately. For thousands of years, they've created an entire society, cultures. Civilization has been constructed to prevent you from embodiment. So of course you're restless. Are you kidding me? How could you not? How could you be at rest? How could you be at peace when war is all you've ever known? To be at war with yourself. Conflict is not without. Yes, you have your financial problems, but the real problem is you. It was never about the outside. And that is where the mind control comes in. That is why psychology is the first defense against your own destruction. To get what you want, to achieve your goals, spiritual, financial, material, health, every single goal you can think of is about psychology. And religion is a distraction. They promise you reward without work. They promise you reward for brainwashing, mantras, chants, sacrifices. How many more sacrifices do you have to make? How long does this game have to be played? How long do you have to abandon yourself before somebody comes to the rescue, before the end times come to relieve you from the responsibility of wanting something and never achieving it? That is the suffering. The suffering is not what happens outside. Do you really believe the suffering is about your physical body, your money, your health? No. It's about your soul being denied its own self-identity. It's being denied its very existence. To deny a child its own personality, to deny a child its desire for play, it's to deny its existence, isn't it? To make it a robot, to make it a slave, armoring. So we are in a heavily armored society. And there is identity trauma everywhere around us. And people try to bribe us. We are coerced. We are pushed. We are surrounded by a cult of people who try to convince us that being somebody is wrong. And we do not matter. How can you not see it? How can you be blind to the tragedy, to the loss of soul? To know nothing about psychology, to be unaware of the unconscious, the covert takeover of hostile forces. Do you really think this is a peaceful world? Oh, there's not much war, there used to be more. We are living in the West, everything's peaceful. It's because we already won. Your soul is what they want. They have most souls now. Most souls already belong to them. Because identity trauma has succeeded. Reclaim your identity. Remember what you want. And then do it. Suffer the consequences. Accept the negative repercussions of your actions, which belong to your soul. That is to submit, but it's to surrender. For real now. Not the fake surrender, be dead. Surrender to your soul. Not to a fictional entity, not to a false god. Your soul is your desires. You can feel. You have the senses working for you. Your body tells you what your soul wants. Are you listening? Are you acting? Then you are free. Oh, but they try to restrict me. They try to punish me. Yes, so you adapt. Focus. What you want. Don't give in. Don't allow them to freeze you. To turn you into a shell and to... Don't allow fear consciousness to rule you. Because the soul knows no fear. Soul only knows desire, emotion, energy, movement, life. The reptile brain is about survival. So the reptiles have created this little organ in the physical body, I assume, because I doubt that nature would create such a rotten body part. When it's also created the frontal lobe, which is divine counterpart. This is the third eye. This is the logic center of the brain. This is how your soul takes over. Through Aries. The reason for incarnating in the flesh is this. This? This is not a representation of you. This is a representation of death. Of a physical body. And the reptile usually wins. The reptile is in charge of this world. So the war is won in most countries and most places. As long as the reptile brain is the primary driver, we are lost. What is the reptile brain? It is ruled by fear. Fear is the main motivation for most people's actions. There's nothing wrong with fear, as long as it does not rule you. You can know fear, you can feel fear, you can see it. And that is the only time when you can have courage to push through. It takes courage to have an identity. It takes courage to believe that you are important. It's a rebellion to fight back. This is your resistance. To believe in your own self-importance is not to be narcissistic. It's to be an enemy of those who try to bring you down and keep you there. You are resisting. You are life. Life is the core. You are the core. Life is divine. You are a divinity. Life is proud, not weak. Life is strong, not cowardly. So remember, you are life. So embody life. That is what you have to do. That is health. That is your identity. You are life. Understand what that means. And then your identity will be healthy. Because our identities are based on death. They're based on self-negation, self-dissolution, self-destruction, selflessness as a virtue. They claim that if you are selfless, if you're a servant, that is your worth. And that on your own, independently, alone, which is to be all one, you have no worth. We try to convince you of that. Don't fall for it. It's a hijack. You are an embodiment of a desire that is chosen to manifest in a very particular configuration, a very specific manner. This manner is seen through astrology. Your birth chart is the natal blueprint of your soul's ambition. What is it trying to manifest? Here you are. Every day you are born again. You come out of your bed, you wake up to yourself. And this is your design. This is your intention. If you believe that what you do, that how you live, is not what you want to do, this is unacceptable. The soul hates anything that is not what you want. Anything. How you live, how you do your daily routine, your daily activities, and even the small things. Pay attention. In each moment, in each conversation, each communication, each friendship, each relationship, each job, each work that you do. Are you yourself? Is it what you want? If it's not, make changes. It doesn't have to be a tower moment. It doesn't have to be a complete destruction of everything you've ever known. But small steps. Where you notice in your awareness, oh, I actually didn't want to say this. I actually didn't want to do this. So don't do it again. Repetition is the sign of mastery. So, this is how you create an identity. By eliminating that which is not you. Not as a mental game in your actions. By refusing to act in a way that is not what you want. And insisting, demanding that you only do what you want to do. You can't do it 100%. Maybe you can. Not me to restrict you. You can, of course. But it's dangerous. This is not to be taken lightly. This is not a game. To do what you want has major consequences. And many of them can be very negative. So if it's too much, go slow. We call this titration in psychology. Take it slow, small steps, doing a little bit more what you want each week, each month, each year, so that the negative consequences of doing what you want to do are not as bad. Oh, is God punishing me because there's negative consequences? If you're thinking that way, then you've been brainwashed. Don't be brainwashed. So if you found this video helpful, leave a like, leave a comment if you have any ideas or any suggestions. And thanks for watching. See you in the next video.